On November 15, 1988, a moment unfolded in Algiers that would echo across borders, across conflicts, and across generations. A moment when a people without a country stood before the world and declared one for themselves. For decades, Palestinians had lived through occupation, displacement, and the painful uncertainty of life defined by struggle. Families were separated, streets became checkpoints, childhoods were shaped by conflict rather than calm. Yet, through all of it, the idea of Palestine home, identity, dignity refused to disappear. Inside a crowded hall in Algiers, leaders, delegates, journalists, and observers gathered with attention that felt almost electric. Everyone in that room understood that history was about to shift. When the declaration was finally read aloud boldly, clearly, without hesitation, the hall erupted into applause. Some clapped with pride, some with relief, others with tears quietly forming in their eyes. For Palestinians living in refugee camps, the news traveled like a spark. Radios buzzed, whispered translations spread. A declaration thousands of miles away became a moment of hope, a moment that said, "We exist, we matter, we have a home, even if we cannot yet stand on its soil." But this declaration also carried weight and controversy. It ignited debates across the world. Some nations celebrated the announcement as a step toward restoring dignity and political identity. Others rejected it, fearing it would deepen an already fragile and explosive conflict. The declaration changed diplomacy overnight. Dozens of countries moved quickly to recognize the State of Palestine. Embassies, official statements, and diplomatic missions began forming. On the other side, Israel condemned it, warning that it undermined peace efforts. And so, what began as a historic proclamation soon became another chapter in a long struggle filled with negotiation, disagreement, courage, and heartbreak. Still, one truth remained. The declaration reshaped how the world spoke about the conflict. It forced nations to face the question of statehood, identity, and justice. It placed the Palestinian story firmly on the global stage, not as an issue, but as a people. In the years that followed, challenges continued. Wars, peace talks that faltered, agreements that never fully materialized. Yet the declaration stayed as a symbol, imperfect, controversial, powerful, a reminder that even in the most troubled places, hope can rise loudly enough to shake the world. November 15th stands not just as a political moment, but as a human one. A moment that says, even when land is taken, even when borders are contested, the desire for identity cannot be erased, because behind every declaration, every headline, every geopolitical argument, there are real people living real lives. Children growing up between walls and watchtowers, parents trying to build a future out of uncertainty, elders holding on to memories of homes they may never see again. These are not symbols. These are human beings whose stories rarely make the front page. And that is why the declaration mattered. Not because it solved the conflict, far from it, but because it restored something deeply human. The right to be seen. The right for a people to say, this is our name, our identity, our place in the world. In the decades since, the path has remained painfully difficult. Violence has erupted. Peace talks have stalled. Generations have grown up waiting for stability that never seems to arrive. But the idea declared on November 15, 1988, still stands not as a final answer, but as a reminder of how powerful hope can be when a people refuse to disappear. History shows us that statehood is rarely born in a single moment. It is built slowly, through struggle, sacrifice, and unwavering belief. And for Palestinians, that belief continues carried in their voices, their culture, their resilience, and their determination to claim a future that is still being written.